I have a LG refrigerator here today where the ice maker, that button there, if you press it in, it won't stop dumping ice. I have it in the locked mode right now because the odds are if you press that button, the ice is not going to stop. The only way I've been able to get it to stop is to physically pull the switch out. So this has been going on for a few months now. I decided I finally had enough of the nonsense, and I think I found the right switches. I will talk about the specific switch later on in the video, but I found these on Amazon, and I got a pair of them for around $11 some. So I'm going to try them out today to see if I can replace the switch. When I say them, there's two switches in there. There's one for the water and there's one for the ice. While I'm in there, I might replace both of them. Although the water's not giving me any issues, the odds are it's going to happen soon enough. I think this refrigerator is about 7 years old. I'll have to look it up. But I'm certainly not going to pay a repairman several $100s to come in here and fix that. If I can fix this for $11 or $12 and some of my own labor. So what I found out is the only way to get that ice maker out is to use a putty knife, where we're going to go in on the front edge around here, and all four sides. We've got to work all these clips out to get this out. I also found out that since this edge is so close to the handle, we should remove the handle, because otherwise it's going to be hard to get a tool in here like this to undo those clips. The handle, I just tried it out in advance. It needs a T10 Torx bit. There's two screws in here to get that out. So I'm not going to film the whole video of trying to get this out. I'll take some clips here and there because I have a feeling it's going to take a while to get all these clips out without breaking anything. But I'll give an update as it goes along, and we'll see how difficult it is to get this out of the refrigerator. Alright, so the first part is done, and when you go to take these screws out, they're really set screws, so don't take them all the way out. They don't have to come out. Just back them out a bit, a few turns, and then the handle just comes right off. There's two protruding bolts here that this gets bolted to. So don't take the screws all the way out, this way you don't have to worry about losing them. Alright, what I found works best with the putty knife, the one I have is a little wide. I also have a small one. It's not really a putty knife. This is a tool to open cell phones and other things that have a tight seam on them. Once I got the putty knife in here, I really couldn't get anywhere, but by putting this one in the opposite corner, I was able to pry out the corner. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. Because it's a black refrigerator, the light's a little rough in here. But you'll see, it's definitely sticking out. And I think the hardest part is getting one corner out. Once you get one corner out, it should be a little bit easier to get the rest of this worked out. But you want to work slowly, because those clips, if they break, it stinks, but you can break one clip or so. That's not going to be the end of the world. It'll still have plenty of clips in there to hold this in. But if you break too many, that could be a different problem then. Alright, I didn't realize this, but this bottom tray has to come out because otherwise you can't get to the bottom edge down here. Now this slides out so far and then it stops. Supposedly you pick it up from the back. Yep, there you go. You can hear a nasty snap, but it does come out. So you want to take that out because otherwise you can't get to this edge. So as you can see, I've got the left edge out. And I've got some of the top edge out. And it's gotten very stubborn at this point. I'm having a hard time working this edge out. It just doesn't want to budge on me. So this is definitely a tricky thing. You want to take your time. I suspect that this would be kind of hard, and well, it is. Alright, so this took quite a bit of work to get this out. I ended up needing two putty knives to help pry it. The right side was really stubborn. The left side came out surprisingly easily, and I thought, hey, this is going to be easy. No, it took quite a bit to get the other side out. So now, supposedly there's a cable or cables in here that we have to be careful about. And there they are. So I'm going to unplug the cables so I can better look at this thing, because I'm not 100% sure if this is the ice maker. Let's see if it is. I think it is. Okay. So this is what you push to make ice, or not make ice, but dispense ice. That pushes this white lever here, which opens and closes this gray switch. And that's the switch we're going to be replacing today. And it's all clipped, so you don't need any soldering to do that. So let me see what it's going to take to get this thing unclipped so we can do this. Yeah, so there's a clip on the motherboard that would have to be done, and then this red clip and then that clip on the motherboard over here, and then we'd also have to unclip the switch. So it's 3 sets of cables you have to undo. Now if you don't want to undo them, you could just, if you have a second person or something to support this on, you could replace the switch, it looks like, by not having to do those other 2 sets of wires. I don't know if I want to try that. Let's see. Well, let's undo the switch first, since that's going to get replaced anyway. Now it's weird, they use a stair effect here on this switch. I'm trying to support this with my belly. So that's pretty cool. So it just plugs in here like that. The switch is held in with one Phillips head screw. So that should be pretty easy to get out. So let me grab the switch I got from Amazon, and maybe I'll just do it this way as opposed to disconnecting the whole thing. Alright, so we need a Phillips driver to get that switch out. It's a plastic thread, so I'm going to be careful when we put the new one in, we don't over tighten it. Now, see, there's the switch. Let me get the screw out of it. I don't lose it. That's the sucker that's been dumping ice on me like you wouldn't believe. It's like a hailstorm coming out of my freezer. Alright, so if we put them side by side, the print is not as nice on the replacement switch. It's a bit harder to read, but you know, they're physically the same. So that's all that really matters. So let's get that switch in and see if that will stop this hailstorm. So there's 2 posts. I know the camera is pretty dark, but there's 2 holes in the switch. One hole gets the Phillips head screw. The other hole, which is in the bottom right, goes on this pin here. So I'm just going to screw that in. Don't over tighten that. Plastic thread, you want to be careful. Past that, yeah, I'd like to clean this up a bit, but I don't want to disconnect all those wires. So now we got to get the switch harness wire back on this thing. As I said, it has like a stair effect to it. It's pretty simple, and that's it. It's back on. Okay, I'm going to push this in lightly. I'm not going to push it all the way in until I can test it. I figured while I have it apart, let me just show you what the clips look like so you get an idea of what you're dealing with here. A lot of clips to get out. Quite a bit of crud down there. And it's a bit fun trying to get that out of there. There's a nozzle here. Now I know why the putty knife wouldn't go in that spot. That makes a lot of sense. That's good to know because I was really trying to struggle with that piece, getting it out there. Alright, so I just lightly push this back in. It is not snapped in on any of the corners. I'm going to unlock the lock, which is down here. It's the bottom button, door lock alarm. It starts blinking and now it's unlocked, which means the ice maker button should work again. Now I would hope that with this thing being pushed slightly out it won't matter, so I'm going to push the top in just a little bit. And okay. Okay, it works. Before, when you would push this plate in, that's it. It wouldn't stop. I'd have to physically pull it out, and it would take a couple tugs before it would stop dispensing ice. So the switch was definitely the issue. So luckily now I won't have a ton of ice falling to the floor anymore. So we can close this up. I did not change the water switch. Since it's been working, I'll just leave it alone. It looks more involved in changing that switch. And actually what we'll do is I'm going to lock this up again. Okay, it's locked. Let's take this out since it's nice and loose. And where is that switch? Okay. I see it. That switch is right here. So I'm not going to, well, I can press it because it's locked. So you can see here it moves this switch. And what would it take to get that switch out? Looks like we'd have to undo these two screws here. That removes this white thing. And then we could get to the screw that holds that switch in place. And it's the same switch. No difference. And what it does, it has the same stir effect for the connector. So that definitely these switches are identical for either the water or for the ice, which is good to know. I don't know if I want to replace it. Now I did clean this. I felt this was really pretty cruddy in here. I was quite surprised how cruddy it looked. So I did take a towel and just wipe it off a little bit, and I think I'm going to wipe it off some more before I finally close this up. This is the switch I used, and I got it from Amazon. And you can see you get a pair of switches for a little under $12. You can apply that 5% coupon if it's still there. And they work fine. They were an exact fit. The part number is identical to what LG was using. And I recall when I went to a plumbing house supply for LG, they wanted about $31 for one switch. So this is a much better deal. Alright, it's all fixed. It works great. I tested it a few times. But when I looked down, I was like, whoops. I managed to break two of the clips off. I don't care. It works. It's almost flush. There's a slight push on the top of the where the water comes out. It just doesn't sit flush in there. I assume that's one of the clips that I broke. I don't know. I don't care. It's fine. It works. As I said, no more hailstorm coming out of the bottom of that thing, because once you press that switch, that ice would not stop. It was crazy.